The mic is going to turn on when there is a poet on it.
Oh, I love you.
Thank you, person. For the voice of God. Make some noise for the voice of God. Sometimes I like to use the non-wireless mic. I'm just saying, okay? I'm versatile like that. Wired, non-wired. Anywho, we're going to start with some poetry right now. Right now, I'm going to introduce the vice president of Mic Check Organization. She is also the co-director of Texas Grand Slam. She would like to let you know that she has a cat. This cat is Satan. She also eats tomatoes like they were apples. She just bites into them, at least 6 a week. That's disgusting. That does not negate the fact that she's an amazing poet. Start building some noise. Start showing some love for Veronica Brady.
Somewhere in Arizona, it is raining on the other side of the street. Grandma is waking me up at 12:04 a.m. from where I have fallen asleep in her waterbed, and we're in the kitchen, and we make bagels with strawberry cream cheese in the microwave, and there is hot chocolate. I am not yet old enough to worry about how many calories are in a bagel or if this hot chocolate is non-fat. I wonder if Grandma was teaching me how much easier it is to eat what you want when the lights are off. Or maybe she was accidentally teaching me to have a hard time loving myself unless the lights are off, because I am trying to look at myself in the mirror, and all I can see are pictures of beautiful women that look nothing like my reflection. I am dizzy. And maybe it's because I haven't eaten, or maybe it's because I am a wheel cracked in half that constantly spins and won't land on anything but self-love or self-hate. I think the mirror has cracked into two different versions of myself. And the one that I can see is saying, this is not what beautiful looks like. And the one that I can't is screaming, love this body. It is not too big for you. And society has become a magazine spread ripped in half. And the half that I can see is saying, you don't fit our expectations of beauty. And the half that I can't is screaming, love your body anyway. I am dizzy and I'm angry that I have woken up at 12:04 a.m. and it is raining on my side of the street. I fell asleep in my own bed. Grandma died a few years ago. I'm in the kitchen and I make cereal with non-fat milk and eat cold chicken from the fridge, and the dishes are piling up in the sink, okay? They're threatening to collapse. I'm threatening to collapse. I didn't eat dinner before bed because I looked in the mirror. The version of me that I can't see won't let me be hungry. Keeps telling me to love myself. This is okay. Just love yourself, okay? But the lights are off and I can't see it. And if it's not my reflection, if seeing is believing, then how can it be true? And Grandma, I want to blame everyone but myself. I am starving for memories of you that don't make me want to starve. And I want to say, it's okay. Your mama feels this way too. It's okay. Your sister feels this way too. But you cry because, God damn it, what if your 3-year-old niece starts to feel this way too? And yeah, in my family, the genes have always made our jeans too tight. In a family of bigger women, you never say the words eating disorder. But why is it that when I start to lose weight, Mama asks me if I've been throwing up? Yeah, I think I want to throw up, but only because I am sick of living life as two different people, and I want to look in the mirror, and I want to leave the lights on, but it's just so bright, and my eyes can't adjust so quickly. Hey, listen, I'm thinking, God, I've written another poem about my body, but maybe I'll never be finished trying to write away this body. I wish we didn't have to scream positive self-image so loudly. I wish I didn't feel like I had to love this body so loudly. I think love can be quiet and bright with no filter and no standards and you can see it in reflections. And in memories, you can leave your lights on.
Make some noise for the poet, Veronica Brady. All right. Audience, you feeling good? Yes. Judges, we'll get there. No worries. My judges are so eager. I love you. All right. We're going to bring up another poet to the audience. She is the other co-director of Texas Grand Slam. She is the special events director of Mike Check. She is an English and creative writing major. And she is the lovely mother of a Chewini. I have a half pit, half lap, and a half German Shepherd, half Greyhound. I don't do small dogs. But she loves his little Chewini so much. Make some noise for Austin Degelman!
When the car goes off the cliff and nobody screams or says, "I love you," does it matter if any of us survive the landing? When you hear the rivers sing, do they have you convinced that the ocean is a body you can come home to? Or maybe you're already some rotting thing stranded on the shores of a depression so loud you never not feel like you're drowning. And you can't tell if the people you love stick around because they care or because somehow they got caught in the swells of your heart and they've been trying to stay afloat ever since. Your blood vessels scream, "There is no room left for anything here unless it was born from the dark. No place for a good dream unless it is to be buried beneath the waves and forgotten. The first ship you ever sailed was a fever-soaked mattress from the house you thought you found God in, and you took it to the front doors of each person you believed would help make the nightmares go away, but it's been years now, and every night you still wake up crying and gasping for air. Your lungs are so heavy that sitting here in the darkness of a sea that does not want you is where you relearn how to breathe. Your bones like wooden oars snapping under the pressure of every wave that breaks against you, and when you realize the lighthouse you've been looking for is just the boy you used to love who has been dead for 3 years, you start to wonder if the concept of a safe shore is something you even feel comfortable believing it. Because you know there's only one way to reach him now, and you think about it every day. But the water keeps pulling you back into this bad dream where you and your friends are about to die, and you want to tell them that you love them before it's too late, but you don't say anything, and you just keep falling until you wake up. Your clothes are soaked in seawater. An entire fleet of ships stuck in your throat, bumping into each other as you try to breathe. But there's a soft chorus of light filtering into the room, and for the first time you don't cry. You just wonder how you made it to the shore without dying. You and everyone in your heart laying still in a bed of sand while the waves hum gently around you, and you think, maybe the ocean I've been searching for was inside of me this whole time. Maybe I have always been a lighthouse singing to anyone looking for safety. So when the nightmare returns and we all forget how to speak, come find me in the light, and I promise I will carry you home.
Make some noise for the poet, Austin Degelman! Oh, yeah. I have to circle this mic every time. All right. We're going to bring up one more beautiful lady right up to the stage. She is an English major. She minors in business and French. In 3 months, she will be living in the France, the place over there. She may or may not come back. She told me so herself. She was like, I'm done with this place. Au revoir, as they say. She is your president of Mike Check and the director of Texas Grand Slam. Y'all start building a noise. Start showing some love for their Jordan Rebecca Cooley.
Before I get started, I just want to say thank you. Every single one of you made the choice to come here today, and I just have to say thank you so much. Yeah, give yourself a round of applause. Yeah. You guys are going to see some amazing heart-wrenching, I mean, you already have seen amazing heart-wrenching poetry, but you're going to see some more tonight. And I hope that if there's anything that you get from here is that you're not alone, is that you have someone who has experienced something that you have, or that there is someone, even if you don't see him on stage, there's someone. And yeah, with that, I'm going to go into my letter. A letter to my sister. It'll be silent when you fall in love. The bathroom will be the background or the battleground, or was known as the bedgrounds, and all you'll see is your body. Yes, your body will take up just the right amount of space, and you'll wonder if you love him after you've already said so. How funny promises and love are so intertwined that you will forget how you said, but only until we aren't happy, and then you aren't happy. And you aren't happy, and you aren't happy, and you aren't happy, and everything becomes a mirror. You see yourself in the women walking in front of you, or rather, you see what you wish you saw when you walked in front of store windows. Be sure to stand straighter when you see yourself. Give the illusion of proud and thin and white woman and men's fantasies, because that's what you are. Be sure to stand still when he touches you. This is what you want, remember. The bathroom is the background and battleground and bed all in one. And Kenna, be sure to stand up when he says he didn't realize. Because I didn't. I said, yeah, no, I understand. You didn't know. And I was too drunk and nothing. This is a silence that sounds too much like love. Funny thing how love is described in 4 ways in Greek, and we are taught to believe in one and forget the rest. Yes, love in the romantic sense is the most important. Yes, fuck the self-love. That is not healing I see in this body. The validation that I am just the right size. Yes, I see my thighs as too big, but in the desirable way. Yes, I know this is what is coveted. Yes, this is what I see in mirrors. Buried my rapists here. It's hard to fit 5 bodies anywhere, though. They tend to spill into everything, begins to look like bad skin and an eating disorder. And when did you become so quiet, Jordan? The men crawl out of me when I fall in love. They join me in bed because love makes me forget the hard stuff until it forces its way into conversation like, you look good tonight. And don't tell anyone. Smile more, just a little longer. I'll leave soon. But I'm tired and stressed. You owe me. And just a little bit, be quiet. I want you. I want you. I want you. I want you. Want you. Yes, please, God, yes, I think I love. My depression makes me sound pathetic and statistic and weak. I forget my own body a lot of the time. It's hard with so many men inside. It is confusing. I know all these men and what they said or what they haven't. And the man I currently love is still learning. It was silent when we fell in love. And people stared like, how dare we fall into each other so publicly? How dare we be vulnerable here? No one is honest here. No one believes in this type of love. And you know, the bathroom was our background, has been our battleground and our beds many nights. But the silence has been different. Has been, I listen to you and I hear you. I love you.
Make some noise for the poet, Jordan Rebecca Cooley. Oh, hey, Thank you, audience. All right, audience, I need to let you guys know something. That was your warm-up, okay? Oh, all right, we're going to get into it now, and I want to let you all know something else, something really special that's happening tonight besides the fact that it's Texas Grand Slam. We are having an experimental live stream of tonight's event. Y'all going to be live streamed all over the interwebs. If you have family and friends that cannot make it because, say, you live in Laredo and it's 6 hours away and that just sucks, or you're from Canada and it's winter over there while it's 85 degrees outside here, let them know right now. They can go on the Right About Now YouTube channel, WAN Poetry, and they can live stream this event for free. All right? That's exciting. That being said, we're going to get this thing going. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the Texas Grand Slam Final Stage! Make some noise. Keep it going. Keep it going. You are live on the internet tonight, audience. Woo! Woo! My name is Chibi. I'm going to be your host for tonight's event, and this is the official MC spiel. Poetry Slam was created in the 1980s by a Chicago construction worker named Mark Smith. It is where poets are given a timed amount on this stage to perform a poem of their own construction without the use of props, costumes, animal acts, or musical instruments, except for the music that they can make with their own body. Then they are judged by 5 randomly selected members of the studio audience on a scale of 0.0 to 10.0. It's like the Olympics of poetry, y'all. Let me let you in on a little secret. Poetry Slam is a game that we play to get people to come to listen to poetry. So thank you for coming and playing the game with us. Make some noise for yourselves. We take all 5 scores from our studio audience judges. We will drop the high score just in case that judge has slept with that poet. We will drop the low score just in case that judge has slept with that poet. We will add the 3 scores in the middle, and that will give us the score for the poem. The poets tonight have 3 rounds of poetry. Here's the format. First round is going to be all 10 poets, and they have a 3-minute and 10-second time limit. Second round is going to be the top 6 scoring poets, and they will have a 2-minute and 10-second time penalty. And third round is going to be the top 4 scoring poets, and they will have a 3-minute and 10-second penalty, and 3-minute and 10-second time limit. After that, we will start deducting points. Nobody likes a time penalty. Can we boo for the time penalty? Poets, you cannot control anything in the world except for the time penalty. Don't get a time penalty. That being said, let's meet our judges for the evening, shall we? Can I get the house lights up, please? When I call out the judges' name, judges, I want you to raise your scorecard so that all the poets know who to bribe during intermission. I've got Judge OG. Where are you at, OG? OG. Oh, way up in the back. I cannot emphasize this enough. Big and boldly, please, sir. I cannot read. All right. Clap for Judge OG. This may be the only time you clap for your judges. OG is qualified to be a judge because he is an athlete. He has been competing his whole life. He knows how this shit works. I got Judge JP. Where's JP at? Over there. Judge JP, clap for the poet. Qualified to be a judge because occasionally he can count to 10. Gig 'em. Oh, the shade. The shade is strong with this one. Then I got Judge SMC. Clap for Judge SMC. You down with OPP. All my judges chose initials. She's qualified to be a judge because she's fair. And shit, sort of. Then I got Judge Maroon 2. Where you at, Maroon 2? Over in the back. Clap for the judges. Qualified to be a judge because they are fabulous. They said it in that octave range. I got Judge Frolicious. Frolicious, where you at? Frolicious. Oh, up front. Thank you to the judges that care about my eyesight. They are qualified to be a judge because they know what's God. Good. Well, they know what's good. Sorry. I have the handwriting of a serial killer. Don't mind me. Judges, we talked about this before, but my audience is still unaware of this. So we said score of 0.0 to 10.0. We take 1 decimal point and 1 decimal point only. We ask you to take into consideration the content and the performance of the poem. Do not be at all influenced by the way the other judges are judging. Do not be at all influenced by the way the audience is reacting to the poem. Judges, I need you to cover your ears at this moment. Cover your ears. Go ahead. Oh, just my judges. Cover your ears. Audience, my judges don't know shit. I'm going to need you to influence the fuck out of the judges tonight, okay? You will do that with your exuberance. And you will also do that by letting the judges know how they are doing with their scoring. So say an amazing poem just came up on stage, okay? And I'm gonna let you practice how you're gonna react. So, amazing poem. And say one of the judges gave them a score of a 2.3. How are you gonna react to that score? Audience, I need you all to cover your ears, please, for a minute. Cover your ears, audience members, all the members in the audience. Judges, they don't know shit. Do not listen to them. They have no idea what they're talking about. Audience, you can uncover your ears. Thank you very much. What we can agree to tonight is that we are here to have an amazing time. So, are you ready to start the Poetry Slam? I said, are you ready to start the Poetry Slam? My audience is ready. My poets are ready. My judges still have absolutely no idea what's about to happen tonight. So, we're going to have a calibration poet for this evening. This poet is not in the competition, but judges, this is your time to warm up. This is who you're going to score. You're going to score them as if they were in the competition. We talked about this. You're ready. Are you ready? Silence. Thank you. Can we make some noise for DJ Metronome over there? In a minute, I'm going to call out your sacrificial poet's name. I'm going to need you to explode. Like that. Like something went wrong in chemistry class. Your sacrificial poet for the evening was your host at the Palace last night. Make some noise for Miss Ebony Stewart!
To the white woman whose YouTube comment said she is tired of every other poem being about race or rape, I'm not sure if compassion fatigue happens because no one taught you how not to be the oppressor or because no one taught you how not to be oppressed, but your comment reminds us that no one cares about us but us. You're right. There are no new topics. Just old problems written into new pleas to a country that refuses to reckon with its own sickness. We Americans, land of the free, can only keep our motto if we keep our mouths closed, and isn't that what all rapists want? Control and a silenced victim. Do you realize that someone has stopped listening to this poem because I am first black and also a woman? Black if I'm alive still, woman if I haven't disappeared yet, got anything anybody in the world might need except my voice, which means my body must be what's left for the taking. I'm not sure how we became treasures we can't afford to keep, but there are all kinds of women who have been raped, who still hope their warm body's heart would stop beating, but still got up and went to work the next day. What we know is it's hard to comfort a girl that doesn't let on she's hurting. So praise every woman that speaks out against her rapist. Praise the ones who didn't but got their healing from the poems you are tired of hearing. How easy your life must be to only sit through the happy while we try and believe the only things we need to remember about suffering is that eventually it ends. 3 times now on social media, I have personally watched a black person be murdered because the United States is still making us pay for the way we look or the guilt it feels, but a person of color's only glory, hallelujah, is as long as we didn't die then, we didn't die. Do you realize that when our mothers say, I love you, she is also saying, stay alive, come back to me whole, in one piece, and not a hashtag or another dead nigga's death you'll have to watch on repeat. Us poets whose duty is to write about the times right, because we don't know when we too will become extinct. Black ink from black poets who dared to write about all this black death instead of hiding behind everything we're thinking. How privileged your life must be, that you can be tired of hearing poems about race or rape while we the poets write about an extinguished race and violated bodies that keep being raped. It's not hard to believe you're tired. But can you imagine how exhausted we the poets must be?
Make some noise for your sacrificial poet for this evening, Miss Ebony Stewart! All right. Judges, this is the absolute longest that I'm going to give you all night long, all right? Can I get the house lights up, please? Judges, on the count of 3, I'm going to need those scores. 1, 2, 3. Hold them up. OG, we're going to need that to be bolder next time. I think I can see it, though. All right. Hold them up. Keep them held up. I have a 6.8. I ain't even going to say anything. I got an 8.0, a 9.4, a 10, and a 10. Clap for the poet. All right, audience, reset. My audience is ready. My poets are ready. My judges are ready. Are you ready for the first poem of the slam? Make some noise for Akeem Olaj.
To grow up a black boy in America is to exist while everyone else believes your blood can make the grass grow. As if you were made out of magic. It is to live with an identity crisis even when you become a man that will look at you and think, boy, will shoot you without thinking if you're in your local park and you're holding the wrong toys. Assume you ain't got no chill on your aggression if you ever get angry. They're so quick to say, well, why you always gotta act so black? And not, oh, you so cute, you could go with any color black, but the other name turned into a hashtag before a college graduate black. Boys, don't believe what they tell you like you're not supposed to feel or cry or feel any other emotion besides pride in evoking a clutched purse. But this is nothing special, nor an accomplishment because if a black boy graduates from college and the police happen to kill him, they will search his Instagram for the most niggardly image of his likeness because he was never anything special. He never had any accomplishments after all. He's black in America. But to grow up a black boy from New Orleans, Louisiana, is to know the first thing they think of when they see you is a ticking time bomb, an inmate number waiting to be processed, a cadaver that has escaped his body bag. Black boys in the South don't feel no pain. Black boys down here never break. But what no one understands is that black boys break. Black boys, we break often. When father abandoned position, we break. We're called a nigger by a group of whites who you thought were your friends. Your teammates, your co-workers, you break. When police officers profile, we break. When black people profile, we break. To be a black boy at this moment in time is to have all your bones broken and still be expected to stand. It's to be a nice little Negro. No need to talk about your feelings in private because, boy, you black. You don't even have a right to your feelings in private. You criminal, boy. You need Jesus. Yes, that's it. We need a white man born in the Middle East, Jesus. Make sure they feel you. Make sure they see Jesus because all you know is that feel equals respect, not knowing that they don't feel your skin, that feel this outcome of American sin when society elects neglect, elects to paint you as the aggressor. You always the aggressor, but you just doing what you've been taught. Been taught to not always have, but want. Been taught to see your needs in other people's possessions and take. No one has ever taught you the concept of earn. They only teach you how not to break, but if black boys don't break, how come we could die so easy? A black boy, a demon like the police reports claim, how come without any holy water, no crucifix, he died so easy, so often, a closed casket funeral, an easy death, but hard life so often, it's so strange, ain't it? How he was actually a human being. Seems like the only time America feels safe is where black boys are no longer breathing, but America, you gonna reap all these dead bodies you sow, even though we all made out of magic. Our blood will not make your motherfucking grass grow.
Make some noise for the poet Akeem Olaj! All right. Right now, I need the entire audience to boo for the host. Do it, just boo. You're like, why? I am sorry, my wonderful bout manager. I went into the next poem. We did not get the score for Ebony Stewart. I'm a bad host.
You're perfection. You're not a bad host, you're perfection.
Oh, thank you. What was the score for Ebony Stewart?
It would have been a 27.4, but with a 2-point time penalty, it was a 25.4.
Wait, audience, hold your exuberance. Boo for the time penalty. Clap for the poet. All right, the scores for Akeem Olaj. Hold them up on 3. 1, 2, 3. God, I hate you, judge in the back. Okay, that is an 8.8. No, I take it back. 8.0. 8.8. 9.3. 9.8. And a 10. Voice of God.
That's a 27.9.
Clap for the poet if you liked what you heard. Keep that applause going for the next poet. It's Shasper.
Yes, this is another black poem. I'm tired of feeling like I have to apologize for writing them. I know you've heard this before. She made another obituary, y'all. He pretty much summed it all up. I know you know the story, the struggle. The black boy puts his hands up as if that will keep them from shooting. Another black girl didn't get a march in her honor. She just fell. Like the tree you questioned even made a sound in the first place. People have asked me to grieve a little quieter. I know you must have come to be entertained. Ain't that what this is? A show. But I'm not dancing today because many love black culture more than black people. Like so many love your poems but forget about the person who wrote them. Many would rather me twerk than talk about the target on my back. So this poem is for me. I'm sorry, but when I wrote this, I wasn't thinking about how comfortable you are in your seat. I'm ranting because I'd rather not start a riot. Please, let me spit on this mic. It is keeping me from spitting in a dirty cop's face, yes? I'm the one who floods your Facebook stream with videos of unjust deaths because I want you to acknowledge that people are trying to drown us. I wonder if you will look away, take a sip of that sweet tea that a black boy died for. You know, sometimes I feel like I'm just wasting my breath, but I have a responsibility to talk about these things because I am still alive. I want you to acknowledge that even today, someone somewhere could kill me and say it was because I'm too scary. I'm standing here because some people don't know. Black people are not the monsters under your bed, but we may be the skeletons in your closet. So I can't just grieve in quiet. When I don't speak, I'm a threat. Funny how when I speak, I am still a threat. Like they mistook the gap in my mouth as a barrel aimed. I choose to speak for myself before a hashtag does. You'll probably try to blacklist me. I am Afrocentric. You cannot pat my afro down and expect that to tame me. If a black fist has become more controversial than a middle finger, then I will always choose the latter. But I can still say I'm tired of fighting. I live in the suburbs, y'all. Most of the black faces I get to see are white people in blackface at parties, but they wonder why I want to go to an HBCU after high school. Most of my life, they put me on a leash, patted my head, called me the good nigga, all while tightening their grip. I've had to learn how to bite, to bark, to spit. I'm sick of trying to convince people that Black lives matter. Black lives matter. It is a fact, not a question. I'm exhausted, y'all. Sometimes I forget to pray before bed, but every time I pass a cop car, I call on God. Do you see how this is wrong? Often, I want to give up, but then I remember some of y'all needed this poem. Some of y'all forgot that you were fighting for more than just your life. This art is activism. This is a reminder even to myself. So, you may be tired of hearing black poems, but art was meant to interrupt, and the work will never be done.
Make some noise for the poetess, Chess Foray! All right, judges. We're going to keep on keeping on the count of three. I need them scores. OG in the back, can you make it bolder, please? I'm just asking. Call them up on three. 1, 2, 3. What she said. Oh, I appreciate you, man. I can actually see them. All right. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. In terms of boldness, all right? In terms of the boldness of the score. I got a 9.0, a 9.4, a 9.6, a 9.7, and a 10. God.
That's a 28.7.
28.7. Clap for the poet. If you liked what you heard, keep that applause going for the next poet. It's Miss B.
When I was 5 years old, I wanted to be a superhero when I grew up. When I earned my degree in psychology and finally grew up, I became a case manager for a mental health clinic for children and adolescents. Yep, I became a real superhero. I fight for justice, help those in need, and most importantly, I save lives. Or at least I try. After I worked there for 5 years, I learned that my degree is just a piece of paper to these kids that will probably ask if they could use it to roll up a joint because they've been self-medicating their demons far before they came to me. We once got a call to the clinic saying that one of our kids was coming with a loaded shotgun. Did anybody ask him how he got a loaded shotgun? Did anybody ask him his history of mental illness before they gave him a loaded shotgun? But I am a superhero. I can handle this. I stand up to such villains as judges, probation officers, even parents to make them believe that these kids still have a shot. I go to schools to talk to them about problems, but they only tell me, we can't address every bullying problem in this school. We would never finish. These kids need a hero. They hold their parents' responsibility on their shoulder and a fearless mask on their face. And as scary as it sounds, today's youth have a voice. They are so loud that even the parents who are supposed to be the authority are actually afraid of them. I hear them every time that they thank me. I hear them even louder when they hate me, when I have no choice but to send them to a psychiatric hospital far away because our funding does not have enough money to build a psychiatric hospital in our area. I hear them crying at night, Ms. B, why did you hospitalize me? I'm not crazy. I just have trouble controlling my thoughts, Ms. B. Why did you hospitalize me when he's the one that raped me, Ms. B? I hate you for not letting me die already, Ms. B. Help me. I don't like going home wondering if I made the right choices that day. I think of the parents that just want a 4-digit check for a 4-letter diagnosis. But you can't pay me enough because you can't pay someone enough to manage someone's life because that's what my job title says, case management. These lives don't have names anymore, they have case numbers. I've been referred to as a tough worker, a strict worker, a saint, and an angel, all titles I don't think I can ever live up to. I am a social worker. I may not like it some days, but it's the life that I chose to save lives or at least try, one case number at a time. When I was 5 years old, little girls played with dolls. I wore a cape.
Make some noise for the poet, Ms. B. All right, judges. On the count of 3, hold them up. 1, 2, 3. I got 1. I got 2. I got 3. I got 4. I got 5. I got a low score of a 7.8. I got an 8.8. I got a 9.0, a 9.1, and a 9.9. Whoa, that's a short poet. I'm just waiting to hear God.
It's a 26.9.
Clap for the poet if you liked what you heard. And keep that applause going for your next poet. It's Icon. You're entirely right. That was my bad. Scratch it. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Make some noise for the next poet. It's Deep.
I have felt the weather changing, seeing the falling leaves painting the sidewalk in mosaic of autumn. As a transplanted Texan, these hoof-printed falls only remind me of one thing, and this year I heard the government is opening hunting season early. Now, every good hunter knows you need 2 things to be successful: a good dog and a good gun. Gotta have something to sniff and some way to shoot. It's important to get as close to your target as humanly possible. Make sure they can't see you clearly. This can be tricky. Hunting through the thicket and the cloak of night offer easy solutions. Now, there's no use in standing on top of an open hill, watching surrounding pastures and bushy banks if they're out of range. No, a better location is just inside the woods, so that if a buck approaches, you can move back and stalk through cover. Now, this can take years to perfect. I spotted one once, dark fur, oversized antlers, say the ones whose pelt sags just below their waist have the most tender innards. This one looked injured, dip when he walked, hand holding his private like somebody already took a shot at him. Looks under 35, that's good. Get them too old, they might have learned how to run, might have learned how to keep quiet and invisible. They said the most popular attraction is corn, but I've learned flashy jewelry, loud music do the trick. Want a guaranteed kill? Use some of that paper money. You can also purchase a call. One sounds like a mother's voice screaming out to Jesus. The other, the ringing of Sean's wedding bells. The last one sounds like a sweet young girl whispering, I love you. Anything that sounds familiar or offers false hope. Once you got them in your crosshairs, aim right under the hoodie, shoot and kill, invite a friend, tell them we don't shoot to eat, we hunt for the fun of the sport. Let's see how many rounds we can put in him for his knees to buckle, for his family to come looking for him, you know. The younger it is we catch him, the more likely it is we'll make the news. Picture us standing next to his 145-pound trophied body like the catch of a lifetime. We could be legends like Irwin v. Crocodile, Fudd v. Duck, police v. every black body. It's human nature that the more dominant species assert themselves over the one who posed the greatest threat. That's how we define a hero here in this thicket and this brush. They can try to camouflage themselves, but nothing that young, that black, that male will ever fit in. I followed one once for 19 blocks. Let my canine sniff out his blackberry scent. Didn't have my shotgun, so I just shot till my gun was empty. I wore his skin like a Halloween costume. They said the darker the hide, the sweeter the blood, and this year I heard the government is waiving fees for permits. So all you need is a rifle, a motive, a good hiding place. Try an alley next to a low-performing high school. Don't have one? Use your own front yard. Plant a hedge, stand in plain sight. Remember, if they come near you, it's only defending yourself. This is the circle of life. Somebody gotta be predator. Something, someone always gotta pray.
Clap for the poet. That was deep. All right, judges. On the count of three, I'm going to need those scores. 1, 2, 3. I got 1. I got 2. I got 3. I got 4. Don't. I got a low score of a 9.1. I got a 9.4, a 9.8. A 10 and a 10.
That's a 29.2.
29.2. Clap for the poet if you liked what you heard. Silence. Clap for the next poet. It's Icon.
When I nailed your picture to the Facebook cross and questioned a black woman's attempt to rise from all the dead things inside her, little Kim, please forgive me. Forgive me for being a part of the social media lynch mob that came for your neck and your face when we felt we could no longer recognize you. Forgive me for forgetting what it feels like to not have faith in my own beauty like it is some phantom God, to question its existence, to have other sinners tell you that your unbelief in your own beauty is no biggie, knowing damn well he was part of the problem. To feel black and ugly as ever, however, still wanting to whitewash my sins, I mean my skin away. So little Kim, I cannot blame you for wanting to be born again, for wanting to look like a new creature. Because see, the word beautiful to a black girl sounds a lot like speaking in tongues. And our spirits are broken so much each day that it's hard for us to open our own mouths and give our own beautiful its due praise. So hallelujah, Kim. I will be the first to testify that I know what it feels like to wear this brown skin like a leper, to come in age in a time when there was no hashtag black girl magic, to sprinkle on noses too thick, lips too thick, hair too thick, asses too thick, voices thick too, to have everything about you feel heavy and not light enough, especially this skin, to feel like too much and not enough at the same damn time. See, too often we forget that we are merely flesh and blood and not made of stone. Yet we've learned how to carve out our features with contouring and cosmetic surgery, adding to and subtracting from ourselves, trying to combat a negative self-image. We try to imagine that these nappy locks are long tendrils, but are taught that no prince wishes to climb them to get to us, that we are not damsel enough, always having to be strong, but sometimes longing to be saved by God or man, taught that there's no difference between the two, that they're both men who create the things they love in their own image, holy and pure and white. And I am none of those things, for the Bible tells me so. I am taught that I am cursed, that Becky with the good hair is blessing, that she is sacrament. So I find myself sipping parts of her body, praying to be made whole, beautiful, something worthy of worship. Little Kim and every brown girl in here, I too know what it feels like to overdose on communion, to drown myself in images that look nothing like me and call it baptism, to partake of this broken body, to most times be the one doing the breaking, to crucify myself daily in bathroom mirrors and still rise every sun, day, morning, having saved everyone but myself.
Make some noise for the poet. That was Icon! Judges, hold them up. I got 1, I got 2, I got 3, I got 4, I got 5. I got a low score of an 8.8. I got a 9.2. I got a 9.7, a 9.8, and a 10.
That's a 28.7.
28.7. Clap for the poet if you liked what you heard. All right. Audience, sounds like you need a reset. Quiet down. Mic check, mic check.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Mic check, mic check. Make some noise for the next poet. It's SC Says.
Die alone. Slurred advice given to me by a drunken mid-40s engineer while I'm freezing at my roommate's company holiday party. Strangely somber, unsolicited advice from a Santa hat-wearing guy who, judging by the 3 empty glasses in front of him, had plenty more to say on the matter. And against my better, still sober judgment, I decide, fuck it, this should be entertaining. And I ask drunken Gandhi, what do you mean? He says into the dregs of drink number 4 again, die alone. But what he said next would plague every decision I made from that day forward, a weighted pause before an almost whispered exodus of pain-riddled understanding. He said to me, die alone before you settle. Never settle. Words probably printed on some inspiring bullshit poster hanging above your unmade bed at home. Never have these words rung home as much as they did coming from a man searching for a silver lining at the bottom of a cheap bar glass. Eyes haunted by a failed marriage littered with warning signs. He said, you have fucking worth. But if you let someone else define the amount of it, you will always be a glass of half-empty, shitty whiskey, waiting like some accessory on The Price is Right for someone to guess what that worth might be. He said, you'll always be running, chasing some version of the future you can see coming but can't quite reach, because he stopped to rest in a city called, well, at least I'm not alone anymore, and decided that it didn't quite fit for shit, but it'll do. You settled. You said you never would, but you settled. You shot for the moon so you could at least land among the stars. But the stars aren't the fucking moon. They're just burning gas. They're just burning gas, and chances are they're dead anyway. He said, I'm sorry, kid. This life ain't gonna be rosebuds and tears, but that's no excuse for taking the road that doesn't lead to overcoming your fears. He said, I knew it was wrong, that we didn't fit together like Nintendo game cartridges and PlayStation disc slots. We weren't apples and oranges. We were stagnant rivers and spilled oil. We didn't complement each other. Just took two problematic beings and made them worse. But I thought if I could build up a dam tall enough, then we can at least keep our mess contained. That with time, we could sift through the bullshit and find meaning. But I found that when you build your walls up with excuses, there will always be cracks waiting to be filled by the shit that's really missing. When you don't know who you are, you find yourself saying things like, she's not that bright, but hey, she's easy on the eyes. He's not that romantic, but at least he's not violent. He said when you find yourself making a list of pros and cons, ask yourself, am I still on my way to the moon? Or am I just playing around with an old flame? I didn't know what to say. To take back the hundreds of times he must have asked himself, who am I to want more than this? Or he just said, I'm sorry. Love can be a tragedy. He said she was never trying to hurt me. She was simply being who she could be around me. I hurt myself by thinking that if I commit to a script with an actress I knew didn't fit, that the ending would somehow be different. Kid, you only get one shot at this. And I know I may seem like a drunken mess, but I know the difference between good enough and true happiness. Don't wait for divorce to teach you this. You have worth, kid. But you have to find it for yourself. Otherwise, you wind up an exhausted engineer 40 years closer to the grave than when he started, fucking freezing your balls off at some shitty holiday party that settled. Never settle.
Make some noise for the poet that S.C. says. All right. Judges, on the count of three, I'm going to need those scores. 1, 2, 3. The wall. Got money, don't need anything at all. So no, you can't take it. You know, audience, do you know this song? No, just me? That's all right. We'll have a sing-along later, I'm sure. All right, I got a low score of a 9.4. I got a 9.5, a 9.8, a 9.8, and a 10.
It would have been a 29.1. But with the 2-point time penalty, it's a 27.1.
Clap. Yeah, no, yeah, boo it, boo the time penalty. All right, now, shh. Wait. It's not about the points, it's about the poetry. Clap for the poet if you liked what you heard. Keep that applause going for the next poet. It's Christian Art!
We live in a world where we constantly lie to each other and to ourselves. I remember being 15 and for the first time in my life meeting some people with some really, really big problems. Anorexia, self-harm, thoughts of suicide, attempts of suicide, abusive dads and boyfriends. And my life had been so sheltered to that point that I didn't realize how cruel it could be to a human being. And I just wanted to bear the burden with them. But as time passed, I not only learned how to sympathize with them, but to empathize. You see, I learned what it felt like to feel heartbroken, to feel completely alone, to feel completely numb, and to not feel anything at all. But throughout all this, you see, I learned how to look on the bright side of things. You see, I figured I had a choice of looking at a picture of a field of flowers or a field of debris, and I clung to this idea that everything would work out in the end so tightly, even as I was being ripped apart from limb to limb, because I was learning how to be happy, and it worked for a while. Nowadays, though, it feels like I picked up one of those flowers from the field and it was a rose, like I've been holding that rose in a clenched fist, like I've been distracted by its beauty for so long that I didn't realize I was bleeding because of the thorns, like everything in my head is telling me to stay awake and fall asleep at the same time, like I am so exhausted, but if I fell asleep now, it would be a waste of a day, and people keep on telling me to look on the bright side of things, but holy crap, for once, can't we be okay with things not being okay? Because right now, I'm pretty sure that there's not a bright side to any of this. This feeling of suffocation in my chest has become all too familiar for me to believe I'll never feel it again. And I've begun to realize that these fields of flowers and debris aren't separate, but are rather adjacent realities. So even when we're overwhelmed with the beauty of everything in front of us, we're still standing in the exact same hell. And sure, I understand that some things are just a matter of perspective, and sometimes you just need a better attitude, but we can't be ignorant and ignore all that death behind us. So let's stop it. Let's stop lying to each other. Let's stop using painkiller rhetoric and using that bright side as our opium and start being honest, because things are gonna get better and then worse and then better and then worse and then better and then worse, and then we die. So stop telling me that things are gonna get better and start telling me, get up off the ground and start fighting, soldier. You don't have the luxury of being down right now. Of course things are gonna hurt. Our Savior hasn't come back yet, and until he does, we have a battle to fight and a path to pave. So let's get moving, soldier. And despite every bone in my body pleading with me to give up, I will fight. I will fight. I will fight so that I don't have an empire to build. I will fight so that I don't end up in a pile of rubble. I will fight so that one day I don't just have to stand on the edge of these flowers, but I can lay down in the middle of them and realize how much more perfect something can be when I have no role in its creation.
Make some noise for the poet. It's Christian Ott! Judges, on the count of three, I'm going to need those scores. 1, 2, 3. Audience, sing along. 'Cause it's a bittersweet symphony, that's right. Come on, audience, do it with me. Do it with me. Oh, no. Half of you. Anywho, the scores for the poem. I got a low score of an 8.9, a 9.0, a 9.7, a 9.9, and a 10. I just realized why nobody was singing along to that song. Because they're all college students. They were like 3 years old when that movie came out. Wow, I feel old. Woo!
That's a 28.6.
28.6. Clap for the poet if you liked what you heard. Silence. Clap for the next poet. It's Zachary Caballero.
To be a Mexican man in Texas is to be confused for construction for a clear glass window, a custodial caregiver to those who don't care. So, you can take out my trash, just not my tax dollars too. I love your food, just not you. To be a Mexican man in Texas is to have your skin swallow the sun. To sweat, it is to sway, to sway. It is to invite the light, and to invite the light is to be thankful for all the sun has done. For the last few years, more people in America have eaten more tortillas than they have bread. So I suppose the best thanks in sliced bread is a tortilla instead. If only America loved my skin as much as they did the food that Texas uses to be Mexican. See, Tex-Mex and Taco Bell aren't really Mexican food. They are a version of Mexico we can all get used to. Yeah, you love guacamole and queso and margaritas, but mostly you love a culture you can consume. Just months ago, 43 Mexican students disappeared. Where do 43 bodies go? Do you still have room in your stomachs? To
To be a Mexican man in Texas is to have a whole plate of lonely to yourself. My reflection is a box of leftovers, who I'm supposed to be, who I am. I'm a Mexican man, and I come from Mexican men whose hands, they kiss bricks into buildings, whose hands, they kiss their wives like their wives kiss dough. 2 generations back, Spanish was all my family spoke. 1 generation back, English broke through the mouth of my mother, became the only map my tongue would ever know. So when asked if I speak Spanish, it's mostly by white people, and I'm still kind of astonished at the question. As if I had to audition for my own skin. As if I needed to speak for my blood to sing. See, English may have been the first seed to flower, but Spanish is still the soil. Language is like love. It's a lesson you never stop learning from. So for those of you who say you're more Mexican than me, yeah, I wish I could believe you. I wish identity was such an easy trajectory, something I could pick up, follow, then lay at your feet. But when I was 13 years old, 2 cops, they thought I was a crime in progress. Put their hands on me hot like an iron, trying to remove all my wrinkles. I could still feel my insides crease at the heat. Do you still want to be Mexican like me, or do you just want the food? I don't mean to be rude, but you can't pronounce the food you are ordering. You love your houses and your highways and your handmade tortillas. But what about the hands that make them? My blood, it is a song. Mariachis remind me of my grandfathers. They both built a house and a family without ever going to college. My grandpa Caballero, he picked guitar string. My grandpa Perales, he picked cotton. They both picked my grandmother's wedding ring. They are Mexican men. I am a Mexican man. And yes, I eat more tortillas than bread.
Make some noise for the poet, it's Zachary Caballero! Judges, hold up those scores. In case you guys didn't know, yesterday was National Selena Day. Judges, I need one more. Thank you. I got a low score of a 9.6, a 9.8, a 10, a 10, and a 10. I'm just going to stand up here and shake my beady beady bum bum until the voice of God infuses me with the score.
That's a 29.8.
Clap for the poet for a 29.8. Keep that applause going for your next poet. Wait, it's Nora Cooper.
To the CEO of Summer's Eve Feminine Hygiene Products, I always knew my vagina had a unique smell. I just never had the right words to describe it, so I listened to the words the people around me used, like weird, odorous, nasty, dragon badge, horrified and embarrassed as one is when one realizes one's own body is unclean. I sought guidance from my gynecologist. I thought perhaps I was dying, rotting from the inside out, but she assured me that everything was fine. Vaginas just sort of smell like vaginas, but my gynecologist was clearly not aware that I had to protect those around me from the odorous black hole I was toting between my legs. Luckily, I found your items in the feminine hygiene aisle, which is actually a tricky aisle to find. See, I thought it would be somewhere near the masculine hygiene aisle. Turns out that isn't a thing. Which reminds me, I finally understand the mantra, spitters are quitters. When you go down on someone with a penis, you have to swallow. There just aren't aisles filled with penis cleaners. There's just nothing to be done about sweaty scrotal sacs. And telling someone that their genitals smell bad or taste bad could be very damaging to their self-esteem and level of comfort during sexual experiences and overall enjoyment of sex. But we vagina carriers have options for more pleasant scents like naturally normal vaginal powder and tropical splash deodorizing spray. What says sweet romance quite like a vaginal cleansing wipe? But these topical treatments were not enough. like killing a hydra. You can't just cut off the heads. You have to go to the source. The greatest weapon in the war against my unclean and smelly vagina, the douche, a device so expertly crafted it can squirt chemical-filled fluids directly into the heart of the beast. It works by stripping the vagina of all the bacteria naturally found within its walls, cleaning and scrubbing and sterilizing until it is practically unrecognizable, all for the sake of making my vagina easier to swallow. Clean at last, thank God Almighty, it is clean at last. I can finally respect my vagina. Hail to my V, just like your commercials taught me to. P.S. I went to the gynecologist again recently. Turns out I have a yeast infection. I guess that's what happens when you fuck with an organism that was biologically designed to clean and take care of itself, just so you can turn a profit.
Make some noise for the poet. That's Nora Cooper. Judges, I need those scores. Hold them up. I got 1, I got 2, I got 3, I got 4. You know what the best part about being a host is? I walk on stage to thunderous applause every time. It's fantastic. I got, judges, hold them up. I'm working out your triceps here. I got a low score of a 9.5, a 9.6, a 9.9, a 10, and a 10.
That's a 29.5.
29.5, clap for the poet if you liked what you heard. Keep that applause going for your last poet in the first round. It's Pages Matau.
When my son would ask me, what did you want to be when you grew up? Most people might have said doctor or lawyer, but to be honest, I've always wanted to grow up to become a cigarette because it is the only thing that my father could never abandon. For as long as I could remember, I've always felt like a man constantly in reverse, like the backwash of a dream, like karma's favorite crash test dummy, constantly begging someone for all the love that they'd already given me. So I started drinking and being with women in order to fill up all of the potholes of my false manhood inside of me. But drinking more absolute only made me more obsolete as I treated having the bodies of people like mirrors to try and convince myself that I could be beautiful in the pleasures that I gave them. You know, the only legacy that my father ever passed me is the uncanny ability to hurt the people that we're supposedly supposed to love the most, especially ourselves, so we become the monsters that we are so trying to hide from. You know, in a split second, I lost a woman that I thought I loved more than my own addiction. The very next year, at a random doctor's visit, I found out that I was alcohol intolerant, that I've drunk so much over the years that liquor has become poisonous to my blood, so my very next shot could have well been my last. My liver can no longer exorcise the demons of my past. You know, God, He has a funny sense of humor. He took away the two things that I harbored on the most to teach me of real love, and that women and liquor are not a cure to your loneliness. So what do you want to be when you grow up? I answered, I want to become a pediatrician, one that helps save and heal children, starting with the one within myself. But who would have known in the 15 years it took to write this poem that I would grow up to become a pediatrician, making a stethoscope out of a microphone, writing poems out like daily prescriptions, and turning the stage into a patient room for the healing of me to start within. Because when you are on the search for the divine inside of yourself, you're often led to the harsh realization that you've been more Rick James than First James, who built built-in fire escapes inside of your bones. For all the times that I wanted to run away from the blaze inside of myself. But what kind of legacy would I pass on to my son? When I give him a legacy of just another black boy with hands like ashtrays for him to inherit the butts of his father's mistakes. I used to want to grow up to become a cigarette. Made sense because I'm a cancer, but I would not be a cancer in my son's life. In 2011, I went sober for him, just so that he'll know that I am the proof that you can grow up to be anything that you want.
Make some noise for the poet Pages Matar. Judges. I'm just going to awkward dance on stage until you throw those scores up. No, just hold them up. Like, don't wait for me. Come on. I got 1, I got 2, I got 3, I got 4. Audience, there are people that can't see the scores. I have a low score of a 10, a 10, a 10, a 10, a 10. That concludes the first round. Make some noise for all the poets in the first round. Yeah, it was. No time penalties. That was a 30. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I feel like everybody can do that mental math. All right, so we're going to move right into the second round. But first, we're going to do a little something that we do at my home slam. I want everybody in the audience to turn. No, keep the lights on. Keep the lights on. I want everybody to turn to somebody that they don't know and high five a stranger. Make a new friend. Oh, yeah. Now take out your phones and take a selfie with your new stranger friend, who is no longer a stranger, but is now a friend. I feel like we are all friends, and I have the best bout manager in the world. She brought me a selfie stick, so I'm gonna take a selfie with all y'all. There. All right. Your sacrificial vote for the second round was your host at the Village Cafe for prelims and for semis. Make some noise for Sam Gordon!
For Sheila Butt, the Tennessee congresswoman who suggested there should be an NAACP for whites, which death was the one you slept through? Which decade came to you cradling closure, a stillborn truth? Have you seen how the spires of white churches reach a little higher? Or how the gospel according to white Jesus sounds less like survival? Have you noticed how Obama is the most measured man who ever held public office? Or how the spire of his church reaches up like two hands, clasped and shaking if you walk Highway 80 between Montgomery and Selma? You can still see the trail where fear left its clearest footprints if you're quiet. You can hear the growl of a wolf called history, whose teeth seek the blood of Malcolm's children. Listen, 4 years ago, I moved to New Orleans. I don't believe in ghosts, but I can't get past how black and white strangers treat each other with a confederacy of kindness. On Mardi Gras, the parades float a half circle around the monument to Robert E. Lee, and no one calls it prayer, though we hold our hands up. Once, a boy bled out under a Missouri sun. He held his hands up. His pain is not our pain, but we do hurt too. What luck that in this family we inherit our parents' knives. Hatred bleeds crimson confusion into the gene pool. What I'm saying is, you and I are kin. I'm saying I think the difference between white power and white silence is a question of volume. Listen. Listen. Listen, I don't have to love you. I don't have to like you, but I do have to love you. I can't tame this wolf alone, and neither can you. And since we both have one arm tied behind our backs, we'll each have to spare a hand to wrap this bandage or pray.
Make some noise for the poet, Sam Gordon! I can't. I'm not even going to pretend. All right, judges, on the count of three, I'm going to need you to hold them up. 1, 2, 3.
I am not your monkey.
No. All right, judges, I'm just waiting on you. Don't listen to them. That's the peanut gallery. I got 1, I got 2, I got 3, I got 4, I got 5, I got a low score of an 8.4. I got a 9.0. I got bright lights in my face. Is that a 2? 9.2, 9.5, and a 9.8. Clap for the poet.
It would have been a 27.7.
Oh, no.
But with a 1-point time penalty, it's a 26.7.
26.7. Remember, this is a 2-minute round, all right? So clap for the poet. And we're going to get right into it. We got the next 6 poets going in this order. Pages, Zachary Caballero, Nora, Deep, Icon, and Shasbury. Right now, make some noise, show some love, and be louder this time for Pages Mateo.
Ma mère n'a jamais eu des ailes. My mama never had wings, but she could tap dance on hurricanes and play poker with death. She couldn't teach me how to be a good man, but she taught me how to be a good human being, how to stand up straight, walk tall, face forward, be proud of who you are, because ain't much God left in this world, but treat the world like there is still plenty God left in you. Ma mère n'a jamais eu des ailes. My mama, she had never had wings, but she's always had this global warming of a smile, told me to only love a woman who could melt the polar ice caps of your past. She sat me down one day, y'all, and said, now you better treat a woman like you would treat me, because if you don't, I'll be on the next plane to slap you back into this country. You are Cameroonian man. You are Cameroonian man. We do not do that shit now. What I grasped most about that statement, y'all, was the fact that my mother just said shit. But then she continues, beware of the tempting ballad of jazzy bells with tuba lips, trombone legs, and a bass line that could turn any man into a crooked song. And make sure to not sleep with no one else's bones but your own. My mama, she had never had no wings. She said, if you try too hard to reach for the sun, you will only end up in flames. Do not be a handsome shadow of Icarus, son. Learn how to stay grounded, son. Teach trees about their roots and never give the world your tears, only smiles, gift wrapped in forgiveness. Because mama said, y'all, mama said that a hater is just a person with their heart all jumbled up because their self-worth and confidence is drowning in a sea of simulation that makes the oceans in their chest nothing but puddles of insecurities, because those who show you no love are usually the ones who need to see it the most, my man. And n'a jamais eu des ailes. My mama, she had never had wings, y'all, but damn if she could still fly, you know. She could care less about gravity. When she can bend space and time between her fingertips, she wears the fabric of the universe like her second skin, her first being her will to always survive.
Make some noise for the poetess, Pages Matam! All right, judges, on the count of three, hold them up, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got a low score of a 9.7, a 9.9, a 10, a 10, and a 10.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's a 29.9. I just wanted to see how far you could.
Woo! Thank you, guys. That's a 29.9. What she said. All right, clap for the poet. Silence, reset, and make some noise for the next poet. It's Zachary Caballero.
I cross the crosswalk when the sun crosses my heart. It kisses my face with the same heat I've been trying to recreate with the words in my kitchen, y'all. When I open my mouth like my hands, I'm turning nothing into something. What I'm trying to say is, I cook with love. It's in every plate I serve, and don't we all have an appetite? Ask my guests, they scrape the plate, nothing left but gratitude for the chef. You can find me by the fire. I'm cooking poems on stoves. I'm simmering the similes in sugar. Or my metaphors to marinate, and my lines to caramelize naturally. Yo, I tell stories in your stomach. I tell stories which are really just recipes for how to recreate joy when you feel empty inside. As you listen to me explain how to cook a bone-in chicken thigh on the cast iron skillet, no, the truth is my favorite flavor. If I ever misspeak, it only means I change the recipe mid-sentence. If I ever misspeak, it only means I change the sentence mid-recipe. Can I tell y'all a secret? I need love like olive oil. The first thing my mother and grandmother do when I am home is ask if I am hungry. Of course I say yes. Of course my eyes are bigger than my stomach, so of course I open up my stomach like a sentence I wish to rewrite. And like a sentence I wish to rewrite, I don't always know what I want to change first, my appetite or the recipe. When I can't stand the cold emptiness of indecision, I stand up in the heat of the kitchen. I open up the fridge like a dictionary. Language has always been the ultimate box of mystery ingredients, y'all. Every plate is a page I am not afraid to share. To break the fast of silence, I crack an egg with so much rhythm, you won't even see it run on like a rude-ass sentence, y'all. I got a recipe for restless like the rest of us. Sometimes I'm hungry, but I leave my voice in the oven. I buy fresh fruit because I want to learn how to be useful before I, too, begin to rot. I pick up my knife like my pen to carve meaning clean from the bone. I plate the truth with purpose in the kitchen of my blood. You can always have seconds.
Make some noise for the poet, Zachary Caballero. Judges. Nobody saw that. Hold them up. The entire audience is like, what the hell just happened? I got a low score of a 9.5. I got a 9.6, a 9.8, a 9.9, and a 10.
That's a 29.3.
29.3. Clap for the poet if you liked what you heard. Keep that. Wait, no, reset. Thank you, audience. Make some noise for the next poet. It's Nora Cooper.
I don't like how the phrase making love is exclusive to sex. Here's what I mean. I saw you from across the room, captivated by the way you moved your hands up and down the mic stand. I wondered what my name would sound like falling from your mouth. We'd go back to my place or yours or a coffee shop. I don't really mind if people see us. It would be coy at first, like, I don't want to come off too strong, but I really like this line. I'd catch you admiring the curves of my consonants. You'd be a bit forward about your preference for assonance. I'd begin to wonder what your lips would feel like pressed against my words, tonguing each syllable with the perfect inflection. You'd say, slow down, baby, rhythm is everything. And we could be iambic pentameter, trochaic hexameter. I'd ask if you'd like to try something new. Show you my box of figurative devices, similes like you've never seen before, rhyme schemes that even the neighbors wouldn't feel ashamed to listen to. Can't you see us carefully stroking each other's sentence structures? Dig my nails into the stories you keep buried in your spine. Let you finger through the pages of journals I don't let just anyone see. And we would press ourselves into each other, sweating syntax, moaning punctuation, achieving a perfectly synchronized auditory effect, creativity creased like bed sheets between us. I wonder what it would feel like to let myself be completely naked with you. And when all is said and done, we'd step back in wide-eyed, breathy admiration and say, God damn, that was one long, extended metaphor.
Make some noise for the poet. It's Nora Cooper. Judges, on the count of three, hold them up. 1, 2, 3.
I don't know what the fifth one is.
I'm just waiting on you, girls. All right. What? Because I can't. Okay, good. All right. I got a low score of a 9.7, a 9.8, a 10, and a 10.
That's a 29.8.
29.8. Clap for the poet if you liked what you heard. All right. Reset. Make some noise for the next poet. It's Deep.
The week my daughter's lungs started to develop, there should have been a giggle resonating across my abdomen at the thought that my baby could breathe on her own. Instead, I found myself wondering how loud she'd be able to scream. If someone touched her with hands like chloroform, would she holler like a fire engine? Would her lungs hold enough air captive to power her body to dash? Charge her vocal cords with enough electricity that anyone standing in a 5-mile radius would feel as though they had been struck by lightning? At the offering of a familiar candy or an unfamiliar car, would this daughter of mine go willingly, or would she be able to do what her mother was unable to, decipher in an inhale who to trust, know when their scent changed, to smell the dissolving powder at the bottom of a glass of alcohol, know how to escape, how to tuck and roll around the shuddering shoulders of the 610 loop, had I given her extra gills on the inside just in case someone tried to drown her, tried to shove her on a ship in the middle of the Gulf, could she respire well enough to make it back home? I had already felt her fins kicking, and I'm saddened to report that I didn't think they were strong enough. I don't want her to learn too quickly the dangers of being silent, the consequences of words caught in your trachea with not enough courage to push them out. Had I shown her how to shove a banshee in the black box of her throat, a siren in every sinew that at a grabbing, at an inappropriate caress, she could keep herself from becoming an Odyssey. Could she sustain her pitch long enough to melt Odysseus's beeswax when seduction try to convince her to come hither? Would she know how to flip the switch, stretch her larynx into a lyre? Would she never know when to give up, steer them into a rocky demise? Had I shown her how to be persistent when the tide rises, how to load her windpipe like a shotgun and buckshot when need be? It's my job to teach her that living on the Texas coast makes her an easier commodity to traffic, so I'm praying she's learning to landlock her voice, build her esophagus into a bell tower, know when to ring, know when to scream. It's my job to teach her that just because she's a woman, her nose may sound like a foreign language. Some people may not be willing to translate it, but she bellows, "Mommy will always find you."
Make some noise for the poet that's deep. Judges on the count of three. 1, 2, 3. I got 1, I got 2, I got 3, I got 4, I got 5. Judges, thank you. I got a low score of a 9.9, a 9.9, a 10, a 10, and a 10.
That's a 29.9.
29.9, clap for the poet if you liked what you heard. Reset. Make some noise for the next poet. It's Icon!
No, you didn't want to come here. But now that you've been dragged here, splinters from the slave ship still embedded underneath your fingernails, boy, be grateful. Be grateful for the white birth mother who gave you up for adoption, yet still found it in her heart to reprimand you on Twitter. I mean, how can you blame her? It's the American way. American flag on the plate, or shall I say, all of us white shooting stars in blue uniforms ready to paint red stripes across your back. Hell, if that ain't patriotic, then I don't know what is. If you don't like the way we protect our own while we serve you death like a warrant, don't like how tight the chains, the handcuffs are, then leave. If you can look up into an audience filled with fans in the stands and still not stand when the soundtrack to this nation's genocide is played, one hand over your heart, kind of like you're trying to stop the bleeding, then maybe we should burn crosses on your jersey and retire it early along with your body. Boy, you must have mistaken that nappy afro of yours for a halo, but you're going to find out how easily we can make angel of you. See, too many have sacrificed their lives and have died for your right to do the same. See, we don't have a police brutality problem in America. We have a black folk don't know how to die quietly problem. Don't know how to read the playbook or signal properly with both hands in the air that they are wide open and ready to receive these bullets, from 100 yards away. That pigskin in your hand kind of look like me. Kind of look like you're trying to take the law into your own hands. Your arm cocked back like a hammer, like you're ready to turn this blue uniform into a 49ers mascot. Boy, you must be trying to get shot. Drop your weapon, Colin Capper. Nigga, get down on your knees.
Make some noise for the poet, Icon! Judges, hold it up. I got 1, I got 2, I got 3, I got 4, I got 5. Okay, I can't see. I got a low score of a 9.8. I got a 10, a 10, a 10, and a 10.
That's a 30.0.
Clap for the poet if you liked what you heard. Woo. Reset, my wonderful audience. How awkward can this get? Explode into applause for the last poet in the second round. It's Jasper Ray!
I'm the girl they told to be a little quieter in the choir. I'm the girl that never quite learned how to whisper. I'm the girl that usually takes a step back from the mic. You wouldn't believe it, but when I was younger, I was a quiet thing. I knew how to make a meal out of silence, but I've grown to refuse to swallow. Now, I have dangerous lips and a pretty smile that conceals my sharp tongue. I'm often told I have a big mouth. I talk too much, I'm loquacious, don't know how to shut my trap, I'm too loud, too much. They say, girl, you got too much bark. We put dogs to sleep for not knowing how to hush. We make examples of those who refuse to be broken. We learned early that being loud is a bad thing. We used our whisper voices and played the silent game because Chatty Cathy is never welcome at the table. Women learn how to be digestible, how to sit, smile, be taken, and be grateful to me. Silence can be painful. I refuse to quell myself for anyone else. Someone once told me I would never be married if I did not learn my place. To her I say, my megaphone of a throat has too much girth for a leash. Others will swear that an open mouth means invitation. Do not expect softer when there's only growl and grit. Ain't no lullabies left in my throat when I sing. Best believe it is my soul crawling from the light. Do you know why the cage bird sings? I'm an elocutionist. I speak because I have to. I speak for the many who don't, who continue to be silent, who are constantly shushed. 68% of sexual assaults go unreported, but I chose transcendence because nobody notices a bird without a song. I speak for myself. I've had to learn how to bite the hand that tries to cover my mouth, to spit out the poison. I'm sorry. I can't forget my tongue, not sorry. I choose sound rather empty. I'm sorry. I choose song, not cage. I'm loud. I don't need yours or anybody else's permission, and I guess all you need to know is I don't need a mic. Because I've got my own. Boom.
Make some noise for the poet. It's Jasper Ray. Judges. Hold them up. I got a low score of a 9.8. I got a 10, a 10, a 10, and a 10.
That's a 30.
That's a 30, she said. Clap for the poet if you liked what you heard. Reset. Clap for all the poets in the second round. That concludes the second round. Make some noise, show some love. All right, audience, here's what's about to happen. We're going to take a very literal 10-minute break. Not metaphorically 10 minutes. Not 10 New York minutes. Not 10 California minutes. Not 10 I just smoked a big fat joint minutes. Very literal 10 minutes. During that time, I'm going to need you to find your high five stranger friend, take another selfie, or high five a new stranger. Just walk up to some random person, high five them. Go to the bathroom, go visit the merch table, stretch your legs, hug a poet. If you see a poet that said something that you loved, ask their permission. Hug a poet. Shake it off, shake it off. We're going to be back in 10 minutes. I'm going to hand it over to DJ Metronome.
No, I was like, well, you better get up there doing all that shaking.
I was trying to bless the stage with a little sun salutation, and I was like, yeah, no, we're just gonna do this right here.
You're gonna get a kneel.
Yeah, that's as far as I can go. Audience, this is your 2-minute warning. We're gonna get started. Ooh, it's a party out here. We're gonna get started in 2 minutes. So you got friends out in the lobby, you let them know. Party gonna get going. I don't know what that move was. I don't know. All right. We gonna get started with this show here. We got one final round. We got amazing poets. We got $1,200 to give away. Woo! Okay, all right. I know it's a family reunion, but there is an after party after the show. Come on. Let's make our way to the seats. We gonna get going. When I say poetry, you say yeah, poetry. Poetry. When I say keep it, you say hot, keep it. Keep it. How you doing, beautiful people out there? Oh, that doesn't sound too good. I'm sorry they don't allow Red Bull in this venue. I'm sorry they don't allow vodka Red Bulls in this venue. Oh, that got your attention. Make some noise if you're sitting next to somebody beautiful. There you go. Sir, that's really rude. Soups, I love you. That's really rude. She didn't make no noise. She didn't make no noise whatsoever. I'd be offended if I were you. I still love you, Soups. So, I lost a layer of clothing. It's hot up here. And unfortunately, we have lost some poets across this night in the competition, but that does not mean that they are any less or any more than anybody. They are all amazing. I'm going to bring out these poets right now onto the stage. One final round of applause for the following poets that will not be advancing to the last round. Can we bring out Akeem Olach, Miss B, S.C. Says, Christian Ott, Zachary Caballero, and Nora Cooper. Come on, y'all, show some love. They went through a full night, a prelims, a semis, 2 rounds. Part of the top 10 poets in the South. Make some noise for these beautiful people. Yeah. Scatter. I don't know. Which means we're down to the top 4 poets who will be competing against each other for $100, that's a lie, $1,200 in cash prizes and a Texas-sized belt buckle. Judges, hold up your scorecards. I need to make sure you're all here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't even know what you just said, but I'm going to go with it. All right. So now we got to re-warm up our judges. A lot has happened. This is the final round. Stakes are high. We're going to have not 1 but 2 sacrificial poets to get us going. Which pretty much just means you get way more awesome poetry. Right now, y'all, I need you to show some love, make some noise, build the energy for your host from Revs is Jordan Hamilton.
When I say the king is dead, you say, long live the king. The king is dead. Long live the king. The king is dead. Long live the king. The king is dead. Long live the king. And as such, as king, I do solemnly swear to lead this country as best I see fit, to determine rightfulness and morality, truth and justice, despite what a vocal majority may say, for I am king, and my word is law. And as such, upon my crown and scepter, I do hereby issue my first royal decree, that none of you shall ever again fear death, or sickness, or hunger, that you never again know hatred, or hurt, or fear, that you be light shiners and high hopers, that you lead happy lives eternal, that your gods welcome you home, that you be dreamers of the good dream, soldiers of the good fight, that you keep your art, whatever it may be, that you be loud and beautifully human, and may my best friends no longer have dead friends, or abusive ex-lovers, or absent fathers, or shot dogs, or war stories to worry about, and everyone comes home and they're forgiven and they're whole, or at least at peace with being broken, and they all sit around and they write poetry and it's terribly boring, but at least they're also alive and here. They take their depression, they put it out in the street, they point at their chest, they say, this house, it ain't got no more room for you. I may have brought you into this world, but you'll be leaving it without me. And they go inside. And they shut the door. And and they turn the light off, and they write poetry, and they go to bed without nightmares, and they're alive, and it's effortless.
Make some noise for the poet, Jordan Hamilton. All right, judges, let's get back into it. On the count of 3, hold them up. 1, 2, 3. Oh, judges, don't get lazy on me. What happened? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got a low score of a 9.0, a 9.3, a 9.4, a 9.8, and a 10. Clap for the poet. Reset. Our second and last sacrificial poet of the evening. He was your host at the Last Chance Slam at Blackwater Draw. Make some noise for Christopher Michael.
Haiku. Black bodies be the soil they plant their bullet seeds in. Crop of dead niggas. Mr. Bullet goes to work, or Mr. Bullet takes a life, or Mr. Bullet says, hey, little nigga boy, hey, thug, hey, convict and future convict, hey, dark truth veiled in hoodie, ugly fact of American history, forgotten contributor to the world, hey, black girl with no name and no voice. Mr. Bullet says, hey, 6-year-old black boy, breaking into your own car, in your own driveway, hey, black boy, aggressively reaching for your driver's license, hey, black boy, black girl, suspiciously sleeping in your car, hey, you, in Walmart, about to buy a toy gun. Trigger warning. Hey, black folks, y'all done churching? Y'all finished praying? Is Bible study over? Hey, black boy, I got another 40 friends that want to come to your wedding. Maybe we can do some shots. Mr. Bullet says, you think you fast, little black boy? You ain't fast. You ain't no Jesse Owens. You ain't no Florence Griffith Joyner. You ain't no Usain Bolt. Dying in your 20s, that's fast. Dying before graduation, that's fast. Dying at 12, whoa, that's fast. Boy, I'm 5 times faster than that BB gun laying beside your body. Damn, you taste good. I didn't expect your entrails to be so warm. Is this why sharks follow slave ships through the Middle Passage? Is this why flames love to picnic feast on your flesh? I almost feel sorry for the noose that only gets to nibble on your neck. On the way in, I just saw another black silhouette. I thought this was practice. Little nigga boy, only 3/5 as valuable as white paper targets, but twice as tasty. Why you got your hands in the air? You got questions? You want to know how fast I am? Well, on average, I travel at 2,500 feet per second. That is to say, you would have had to been on the 150-yard line for a hope of a chance, but you ain't. This ain't the Matrix. You can't dodge me. I broke the sound barrier twice on the way to breaking your body, boy. Hey, black girl, I'll get the city to pay your family millions if you'll just let me inside of you. I was made to make a good entrance, but my exits are much bigger. These young boys don't know nothing about blowing nobody's back out. Once the trigger's pulled, I won't back out. Cock, click, bang! Black out.
Make some noise for the poet, Christopher Michael! A song I know. All right, judges, on the count of 3, hold them up. 1, 2, 3. I got 1, I got 2, I got 3, I got 4, I got 5. I got a low score of a 10, a 10, a 10, a 10, and a 10. Make some noise for the poet.
For Jordan, We had a 28.5.
Yeah.
For Christopher Michael, we had a 30.
Make some noise for both of our sacrificial poets. All right, audience, reset. This is it. Top 4 poets. Are you ready? Are you ready? Make some noise for the first poet in the last round. It's Deep.
The last time I was in Dallas, I remember how dark the sky was when I left Heroes Lounge. The clouds blocking any moonlight, the roads tangling like an umbilical cord in the belly of the city, all so unfamiliar. We headed north, my husband and I, in search of somewhere to rest our heads, fill our bellies, or both. Our bearings out of whack, we missed the on-ramp, found ourselves sailing down an exit with no sight for miles. This highway non-stopping us further out to plain. Just then, he starts to speed, hands clench around the steering wheel, heart goes all sundial, his words a building tornado to every question I ask. He is driving like he's powered by hell, like his switch has been flipped, and I get it. I guess we all deal with it differently. Being lost. Being lost. The morning we woke up to a belly more bloody than baby. A cramping bed of grief. We couldn't find a heartbeat between the three of us. Should we blame ourselves, our child, our God? Miscarriage is its own misdirected finger paradox. And on a holy day in November set aside for thanks, I wasn't a Macy's Day parade of glee, just a deflated balloon on the floor of our townhouse bathroom. I wasn't a map with rightful compass. I was a desert dry hopeless with a mirage on every corner. I still feel the kicks sometimes. Swear this isn't the trail of tears I'm walking, that I am not a heartless horseman trying to live vicariously through every other mother's smile. I mean, we should be happy with the one sojourner we have. Stop trying to fly so free down south, like a warm belly is something we deserve. Answer with grace the hundreds of times people have asked us if we're ready for another, like it's a trip we haven't packed for before. It's so hard to find an explanation for a flight delay no one believes exists. So hard to replace a smile that no one has reported missing, to put back a child that no one ever knew was there, but I promise it was. Though I can't put my hands on it right now, I still remember all the Eastern board queasy, having erased the twitches and thuds and feeling of full hands and hearts of wanderlust. So sometimes, yeah, when our keys slip, when it takes us longer to find ourselves safe, all of the sand slipping through our hands feels like hope insurmountable, feels like a rest stop too far away. Feels like a gas pedal we just want to punch. And I can't say that I haven't thought how grounded a median might make me feel, how a ride an airbag might rest against my face, how out of body might grant me a moment to hold him or her long enough to give them a street name. This is not one of those things that knows how to locate its own way out, but we are trying. Every day we pick up a new piece. We kiss with quivering lips, wrap ourselves in a GPS kind of brave, and when we pass a woman expecting a miracle in her belly, we clamp our hands, watch the lightning in each other's eyes, tear another fork in our road. We'd say a prayer that she would never know loss from this place, turn the car on, and
Make some noise for the poet. It's Deep. All right. Judges, on the count of 3, hold them up. 1, 2, 3. I got 1, I got 2, I got 3, I got 4. Don't play with me, judges in the back. All right, I got a low score of a 9.6. I got a 9.7, a 9.7, a 9.8, and a 10.
That's a 29.2.
29.2, clap for the poet if you liked what you heard. Reset, audience, reset. Exuberant applause every time. Make some noise for the next poet. It's Icon!
Trigger warning. I will not shoot this poem while its hands are in the air, i.e., I will not make this poem surrender to my force. See, I used to stay up at night, stalking poems, trying to pin them down and take from them what they were not willing or ready to give. But this poem has a right to say no. This poem is not weak and helpless, i.e. this poem is taking self-defense classes, just in case 5 random judges try to rob it of its value by hitting it over the head with low scores. This poem is not ladylike. It is not Stepford Wife. It may not always be made up and coiffed to perfection. Its ink-smeared lips may slur curse words and dirty jokes instead of sweet metaphors into your ears. This poem may just smack you on the ass and demand that you write down your phone number on the fucking scoreboard. I repeat, this poem is female, but that doesn't mean it is not capable of taking physical advantage of male poems. In the same breath, that also doesn't mean that this poem is not capable of killing this stage. This poem will not stay in its place. I.e., although this poem is going second, it will not walk 10 steps behind your poem. It will not speak only when spoken to, because this poem says whatever the fuck it wants, whenever the fuck it wants. This poem is a misfit. I.e., this poem is not concerned with becoming one of the cool poems. This poem may or may not fit your literary criteria. I.e., this poem may not be featured on Button Poetry, and this poem is absolutely okay with that. Because buttons usually close things up, and this poem is wide fucking open. This poem is a whore. This poem is a whore, i.e. anyone could get it. This poem is not what's trending. This poem is not what's trending, i.e. it will not comb headlines, Facebook posts, nor Twitter feeds for its next fashion statement. This poem is not a current event. It is not a hashtag, #. This poem just is. This poem doesn't identify with what you call a feminist. I.e., this poem does not sing the praises of Annie DeFranco nor Beyonce. However, it does belt a deep, raspy ode to Harriet Tubman, Angela Davis, Fannie Lou Hamer, and Assata Shakur. I repeat, this poem is woman, black woman to be exact. Therefore, this poem is aware that our poem struggles are not quite the same. This poem is not a racist. Your scoreboard is. Or your poem is. I.e., this poem sees the way you walk into an open mic and how you clutch all of your slam titles and accolades when you have to share a stage with it. This poem loves black poems, but it also has white poem friends, so it can't possibly be racist. This poem doesn't possess the power to oppress your poem, because whether you admit it or not, when you walked into this slam, you already came here with male, slam privilege. This poem is not politically correct, i.e. this poem would rather go out in a blaze. See, the last time this poem was cautious about what it had to say, it still didn't win the fucking slam anyway.
Make some noise for the poet, it's Akon! Judges, hold them up. I got 1, I got 2, I got 3, I got 4. I got a low score of a 9.8, a 9.9, a 10, a 10, and a 10.
That's a 29.9.
29.9. Clap for the poet if you liked what you heard. Reset, audience, reset. Ooh, it's hot in here. Make some noise for your next poet. Show some love for Shasper Ray.
When I told my mom that her boyfriend raped me, she didn't believe it. Warning, this is not a bedtime story, Mom. You have always been bad at being alone. You picked up lost boys and gave them homes, then let them go when they refused to become men. We were so used to you searching for pieces of yourself in others that we named you Lost too. This last time, you picked up a stray, fed him treats and called him good, or good enough. You gave yourself away again, fed him pieces of yourself thinking he'd be full, not knowing that at night he turned into a wolf. The first time he made his way to my room, mouth foaming, he looked at me like fresh meat or goodies. He tore into me because apparently I was worthy of being devoured. Mom, this is the part of the story where I can tell you I screamed, begged him to stop. I could tell you I fought. This is the part where you question if it ever really happened because it couldn't be how your love story ends. I showed you the trail of bite marks on my thighs and you looked away. You said to stop crying wolf while you petted his fur. You called it a tall tale, so he pulled the wool over your eyes and continued to take me. You gave him dinner, but he thought of me as dessert, something to wait for, savor. Mom, I wasn't making this up. Every time his belly was empty, he would nibble on my breast, quench his thirst with my blood, crunch on my bones and made a snack out of my lungs. I apologize, but the part of me that loved you is gone. He took it when he made a feast out of my heart. I can't stomach the fact that you couldn't tell our bite marks are the same. You saw the blood filling my mouth and just told me to swallow. How dare you say I was trying to ruin your happily ever after, Mom? When you refused to acknowledge my scars, I learned I could not depend on you to save me. To anyone who's ever been through this, I'm sorry. I know that doesn't help. Sorry is slapping a Band-Aid on an open wound and expecting it to help with the healing. I understand. I know that lying there and taking the bruises is sometimes easier than a battle. I know that telling someone is a fight within itself. It's like being swallowed all over again when someone refuses to help, so I see you. And most importantly, I would believe you. The story goes that one night my grandmother was restless or heard the chewing. When she caught him on top of me, the sheets were bloody. She almost cut him in half, but called the police instead. When my mother showed up to the crime scene, she was in pieces. I don't know who she was crying for. Me, the wolf, or herself. And Mom, I could have said I told you so, but I know that would have killed you, so I'll just say I survived. I am still surviving.
Make some noise for the poet, Chess Parade! Judges, hold them up. I got 1, I got 2, I got 3, I got 4, I got 5. I got a low score of a 9.9. I got a 10, a 10, a 10, and a 10.
That's a 30.0.
That's a 30. I just like to hear your voice. Clap for the poet if you liked what you heard. Audience, have I told you lately that I love you? You're beautiful. All right. Make some noise for the last poet in the competition. It's Pages Matone.
Important things to know before attempting to date an African or how to properly cook rice. 1, you must cook rice. 2, Africans like to speak in metaphors. I'm still surprised that my mama wanted to disown me when I told her I'm gonna be a poet. When she's always saying things like, the smartest goat in the room is the one who understands the flow of the river. What the fuck does that mean? It means go wash the damn dishes, you stupid goat. 3, whether we're 3 feet or 300 feet from you, we are always megaphone parade loud. Our voices project like a howling typhoon filled with all of the anger and plight of all of Africa. Whispering is as foreign as we are. Our voices molded in accented thunder, probably because for so long history only shamed us into silence. 4, you must cook rice. 5, At one point in life, we're all supposed to be doctors or lawyers. If you ever meet the parents, make sure you uphold this. Do not give them a reasoned reminder of how insert less than stellar six-figure paying profession here does not pay the bills. And we do not send you to America to become Cameroonian Shakespeare, sag your pants, listen to that Jay-Z stuff, or make babies with all women. 6. Don't call it soccer, call it football. Real Madrid versus Barcelona, La Coupe d'Afrique. When the World Cup is in progress, nothing else fucking matters, y'all, nothing. 7, you must cook rice. 8, Africans have no concept of time. For to meet at 10 a.m., it really means 1 p.m. Make sure you plan everything at least 3 hours in advance. 9, all weddings, parties, and gatherings involving any sort of music last for at least 3 days. Probably because everybody showed up the fuck late, but you will dance. You would dance until you grow blisters on your feet the size of African liberation. We dance, and we dance because we understand that music is the undying essence of freedom. It is the beauty of our ancestral choreography, how the body becomes an answered prayer. This is Oshun in a body roll. This is Oya two-stepping on the neck of colonization. This is a Yemaya saying, fuck you, white supremacy. You ain't got shit on me. What do you have? White tears? What do you have? White tears? I have 7 oceans, and you cannot kill an ocean even when we're dancing under fucking water. 10. Despite the ugly shade of calculated misfortune or the drag of MT often railing from our eyes, we are more than just HIV commercials, more than just for 20 cents a day you could feed this hungry caricature, more than just your Facebook profile picture where you're saving the hungry poor black kid. We are more than just a grain dropped. We are more than just a grain dropped in colonization's pot with the flame of guilt swaying under. But like my mama always said, si tu ne peux rien d'autre préparer, il faut au moins se faire du riz. If you cannot cook anything else, you must cook.
Make some noise for the poet's pages, my time. Judges, hold them up. I got 1, I got 2, I got 3, I got 4. Audience. For those of you sitting back there that can't read the scoreboards, I got a low score of a 9.9. I got a 10, a 10, a 10, and a 10. God?
That's a 30.0.
That's a 30.0. Clap for the poet if you liked what you heard. Reset. Clap for all the poets that competed tonight. Show some love. Show some love. Louder this time. Be louder this time, please. Woo! All right, audience. They're going to do some math. We're going to find out a winner. That concludes our competition. While they do the math, it ain't so. While they do the math, do you mind if I do a poem for you? You've been so wonderful tonight. Let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next poet to the mic has been your host all evening. If you have not cheered with 150% exuberance up until this point, we ask that you do it now. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Chibi!
I shouldn't be writing this poem. Some people would say that I don't have the right. Confession number 1. I was born in a city with more vowels and letters in its name than Sesame Street could sponsor in a whole season. I held a resident alien card so long I wondered if eventually my skin would turn green. I can hold out a grito like un mariachi chingona. Y muevo las caderas bien sexy como Shakira. These baby-making hips don't lie. Hay un fuego adentro, a fire inside that can only be fueled by habaneros and carne asadas. And yet, I can name the 50 states in alphabetical order faster than tequila tends to disappear at a family reunion, but still, I shouldn't be writing this poem. Some people would say that I don't have the right. Confession number 2, football and soccer are both equally confusing to me. In high school, PE did not stand for physical education, but rather painfully excruciating, but I could still kick your ass in Mortal Kombat so long as you let me be
Sub-Zero.
But nobody wanted to be known as the guy that got his ass kicked by a fag, so I could see why I shouldn't be writing this poem. Why you think that I don't have the right. Confession number 3, I had a hard time getting through church. Maybe I just didn't believe that I could search for God if I was sitting still. Once I thought I found God in the Spice Girls. I am not kidding. Maybe it was their individuality that made them so universal, but I thought that is what God must be like, so unique and diverse that everybody, no matter who they are, sees their image and God in their image. I see God in everybody, and Usually I will take God home at the end of the night, and he is always beautiful, and we will find God together, and God damn it, they cannot tell us that we are wrong, but they are still telling us that we are not right, that I shouldn't be writing this poem, that I don't have that right. The truth is, I shouldn't have to write this poem. I shouldn't live in a state that protects bigotry and homophobia and calls it traditional family values, where the right to discriminate is given precedence over the right to life, where the facts are irrelevant so long as the fear is real. My city of Houston set the example, gave hate-based fear a public podium for people's private moments when they decided that equal protection under the law came second to dictating bathroom privileges. It surprises me where hate chooses to target. Why does the government feel like it has to be the biggest bathroom bully? But hey, I shouldn't be writing this poem. My name is Manuel Roberto Orduña Carretero. I was born in Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, and yes, I am gay. None of these are a choice. Misinformation, that's a choice. Manipulation of the facts, that's a choice. Ignorance, that casts votes for politicians that push hatred and bigotry and homophobia and racism and calls it traditional family values, where the facts are irrelevant so long as the fear is real. Maybe fear will make America great again. Maybe I shouldn't be writing this poem. Maybe I don't have that right, but I have been wrong enough times to know that nobody is perfect, and if my existence and persistence offends you, I forgive you.
Audience, make some noise for all the poets! I like this song. Make some noise for DJ Metronome on the ones and twos, keeping it sexy on that long. All right. Woo! Woo, that was close. Does anybody have water? All right. You guys ready to find out who won tonight's slam? Yeah! When I say right about, you say now. Right about. Right about. Mic check, mic check. Tell them. Team Snow. Did I miss anybody? I got a pocket full. Neo. I see you, poet. Slam! I think that pretty much covers it. We did that one. For those of you who have no idea what's going on, slams make their own chants. I don't know. All right. In fourth place, poets, I need to remind you to sign the score sheets before you leave tonight. In fourth place, with a cumulative score of 88.3. Make some noise for Deep! In third place, with a cumulative score of 88.6, Icon! In second place, with a cumulative score of 88.7, Shasper. Which means your first place winner tonight, with a cumulative score of 89.9. Y'all get on your feet, make some noise for Pages Matam, your new Texas Grand Slam champion. Y'all, that concludes the biggest individual poetry slam competition in the universe! Make some noise for yourselves, your lovely, beautiful selves, for joining us here on a Saturday night. This is Texas Grand Slam. You are here at Rudder Theater. Thank you, Rudder Theater, for having us. Thank you, poets, for being so beautiful and amazing. Thank you, Mike Check and Texas Grand Slam Committee, for putting this all together. DJ Metronome, my bout manager, whom I love. They're going to take a selfie. The audio-visual people who've been recording this thing, if you liked anything at all that you heard tonight, go talk to one of those poets. Poets like to talk about themselves. Go talk to one of those poets. More importantly, go buy the merchandise. There's merchandise over at the table in the front where you got your tickets. Go buy their merchandise. Go meet them. High five a stranger. Hug a poet. Love yourself. Meet us at Fat Burger tonight for the after party. My name is Chibi. It has been an absolute pleasure and an honor to be your host tonight, y'all. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Oh, can I get the poets up on stage?
Mic check 8:30. What? Sunday, mic check 8:30.
When I said poets, I mean all the poets that competed this weekend. All the poets up on stage. And judges, if I can have you bring your scoreboards and markers down here. All the poets that competed this weekend up on the stage. If you want some more poetry, if this wasn't enough for you, Mic Check is happening tomorrow night at 8:30 at Revolutions Cafe. What? It was caught. I'm sorry. Again, if you competed this weekend, can we see you on stage? We want to get a nice big. Get on stage and now form together. Oh, this is going to take a lot of coordination. I'm going to give you like a 20-second count to like hug it out. All the poets that competed this weekend up on this stage are taking a group picture. I probably should have emphasized that. It's for a photo. Let's try and line up. Poets up on this stage. We're going to do a picture. We can hug it out at the after party. Come on. Poets. Who? It's a point picture. All right, let's line up in some sort of order. Little poets in the front, tall poets in the back. By little, I mean vertically challenged. I'm just gonna do this right here. Oh yeah, it's happening. We're pointing, poets. We're pointing. Whoa! Come on! All right, we're all here. After party at Fat Burger, y'all. High five a stranger.
Lip liner.
Sorry.
High five a stranger. Hug a poet. Buy their merch. Go meet us at Fat Burger.
Do it. I'm here.
check, check, check. Hey, so we're on the clock here. So you gotta, you don't have to go home, but you can go to Fatburger to the after party, because we are on the clock. You need to clear this room, because we're getting charged a lot of money. That means get the fuck out.
Okay, are you coming to Fatburger?